Yeah, you might need one. Yeah. Anybody else need a sheet?
I'm not sure if that's the same one. Right here, Chris.
This is a new one, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, we do have a new sheet, so does anybody need one? Okay. Now, last Wednesday, I know that we were snowed in, so at least for those who tuned in to my live stream on Facebook, we had a study that Wednesday night, and we finished up John chapter 5 in regards to the witnesses to Jesus' divinity, to his sonship, to his equality with God. And so we're going to continue in his life now, and we're going to be looking at Matthew chapter 10. Matthew chapter 10, verse 2 through 4, Mark chapter 3, verse 13 through 19, and Luke 6, 12 through 16. And we're going to be looking at now where Jesus goes off to a mountain to pray and then chooses his 12 disciples, his inner circle of friends who will later on become his apostles. So let's see, Chris, can I get you to do Matthew chapter 10, verse 2 through 4? Ashlyn, can you do Mark chapter 3, verse 13 through 19? And Karen, can I get you to do Luke chapter 6, verse 12 through 16? Yes, ma'am. Chris? Yeah.
Matthew 10, verse 2 through 4 says, Now the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew, the tax collector, James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the zealot, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him.
Mark chapter 3, 13 through 19 says, And he went up on the mountain and called to him those he himself wanted, and they came to him. Then he appointed 12, that they might be with him, and that he might send them out to preach, and to have power to heal sicknesses, and to cast out demons. Simon, to whom he gave the name Peter, James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, to whom he gave the name
Wagerness.
Thank you. That is Sons of Thunder. Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas
Iscariot,
who also betrayed him, and they went into a house.
Hey. In these days he went out to the mountain to pray, and all night he continued in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples and chose from them 12, whom he called apostles: Simon, whom he named Peter, and Andrew his brother, and James and John, and Philip and Bartholomew, and Matthew and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas the son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor.
All right, thank you. Now what we see here is going back in John chapter 5. Now after when Jesus had confronted these Pharisees who were very hostile towards him because, for what reason?
He was taken over. I mean, he was, Well, I know.
I just said a few minutes
He was
ago.
putting them out, basically. He was kind of becoming them, and they didn't like what he was talking about. It's taking away their power.
Yeah, a lot of the reasons, yes, is why that they were getting, upset is for the fact that they're going to be losing their power. And that's going to be more based upon at least John chapter 9 from when we talked about Sunday night in regards to why they kept suppressing the truth is because they knew that having to accept the truth is going to come with a high price. It's going to cause you to sacrifice a lot of things, to let go of a lot of things. They didn't want to let go of that power. And so, but in John chapter 5, in his confrontation with them, they were mainly upset over the fact that, of two reasons. One is, what did he do when he healed the lame man at the pool? On what day? The Sabbath. The Sabbath day. Yes. And once again, we see a prime example here of them suppressing the truth is that when you are presented with the evidence, and the evidence is this man who's been paralyzed for 38 years is now walking, instead of looking at the evidence and accepting the truth of it, they attack the miracle worker. People still do that today. They attack the messenger because they don't like what the message has to say. They don't like the evidence. And so they start attacking him. Oh, he did on the Sabbath, but he did on the Sabbath. You can't listen to him. It's like calling us today, those are legalistics. You can't listen to them. Yeah. But then later on, they found out that Jesus was equating himself with who? With God. And so now they become even more hostile. It was when they heard that he was making himself equal with God, that is when they decide to try to what? Kill him. Yes. When they try to kill him. Silence the messenger. Silence him. So now, here, to add more to the hostility, Jesus says that, well, hey, when I'm gone, guess what? Guess who's going to take over my work when I'm gone? The 12. The 12. So to increase hostility, he select 12 men to carry his work when he was gone. Now, Jesus obviously knew that his days were numbered, but now, however, these men, these 12, are now going to be following him. Wherever he goes, they go. They're going to be living wherever he's going to live. They're going to go to the next town. Whatever next town he's going, they're going to go. So they are going to be full-time men who are going to be learning from their teacher, Jesus, because he is going to equip them and train them for a special task, to take over the work when he's gone. Mark explained that these men were selected, that they would be with him, and that he could send them out to preach. So again, there you have it. They would travel with him and learn from his teaching and his example, and he would send them also on special missions. We're going to be looking at what is known as the limited commission, where they're going to be sending them out 2 by 2, and so he's going to be training them, basically. He's going to be training them. And so from this time, much of Christ's effort was directed towards the preparation of the apostles. But now, we see, at least from Luke's account that we have here is really the only account out of the 3 that mentions Jesus going to the mountain to pray before selecting these men. Now, question number 1 on the discussion sheet, I think is a great way to start off this our discussion is, why do you suppose Jesus prayed before selecting his 12 apostles? Okay, so leading by example, showing about how important prayer is. Okay. What else?
More wisdom.
More wisdom? Okay, so praying, how does that show more wisdom? I agree with you, but how does that show more wisdom?
You should take it to the Lord first.
You should take it to the Lord first. Yes. And so being an example for them in prayer, showing them that it's a lot of wisdom to go to the Lord, to consult with the Lord with whatever decision that you have to make. So hence, I'd say a great lesson that we have here is that all decisions should be preceded by prayer. Has anybody in here ever had to make a very tough decision in their life? I think all of us have. Did you take it to the Lord in prayer? See a lot of head nodding. Good. Because that's what we have to do with whatever decision that we have to make, especially, the major ones. But I'd say even with our small decisions that have to make, all decisions must be taken to the Lord in prayer. Seeking out His wisdom from above. Going to the Lord in prayer saying, all right, well, Lord, show me in your word here. Help guide me through your word so that I can be able to make the right and best decision, not just for myself, but maybe even for my family. And so I think Jesus, absolutely going to the Lord in prayer, he was praying over his selection of the 12. Because think about it, at this point, not only were the 12 present, who else were all there following him at this time? Everybody else. There was a multitude of disciples, because remember what the word disciple means. Disciple means follower and imitator of your teacher. And so Jesus at this time had many disciples, hundreds, maybe even thousands that were following him. And he's only going to be selecting 12. And I also kind of wondered, if all the multitude of disciples that were there, I wonder if they knew beforehand that he was going to be choosing 12. I wonder what would be going through the mind. Oh, it's going to be me. Oh, I'd love it if you picked me. Yeah. Well, we don't know. Again, that's just reading between the lines, but I always find that interesting, is that, I wonder if they discussed among themselves, a little bit excited, saying, oh, he's choosing 12. Some may be in there thinking, oh, well, look at all these thousands of people. What are the chances of me, getting picked by him? I doubt it. But anyways, he's only choosing 12. Now, why did he choose only 12? That's the follow-up question. Yeah.
Because 13's an unlucky number.
Because 13's an unlucky number. Because what?
Because that's what God told him to do. If he went to pray, he took counsel from God, and God probably told him, these are the best men to pick.
Oh, I like that.
There's another reason. Remember Moses go out in the wilderness, and God said to Moses, choose 12 tribes.
Yes.
Except for the Levi, the other
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say that, that's why God chose the 12 people, because he was thinking about Moses with the 12 tribes. That's why he chose 12. That's another reason.
I would agree with you on that. See, the number 12 in the Jewish culture represented the number of religious completion. That's what it meant, religious completion. And we have the 12 patriarchs, don't forget about them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had the 12 patriarchs prior to the 12 tribes, and then 12 tribes came, and then now we see 12 apostles. And so it seems to be a shadow of the Old Testament and also the substance of the New Testament. And so 12 represented the number of religious completion, and it also was seen throughout the Old Testament. The number 12 was very popular among the people. 12 patriarchs, 12 tribes, and then now we have 12 apostles.
And the one that the calendar had 12 months too.
Okay, well, our Gregorian calendar that we have is
Yeah,
12
12.
months. Yeah. And so now, going back to at least what Vicky mentioned about consulting with God, now, how did he know which specific men to choose? How did he know these specific men that's listed right here?
He knew his heart. He knew his heart and what they would and wouldn't do.
No, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no. The way I'm wording the question is how did he knew it was going to be these specific men to choose? This is where I believe his divinity comes in. Him consulting with God, and then also he already knew beforehand that these were going to be the men. This would, again, we see the humanity side of Jesus, then we also see the full divinity side of him as well. But the fact that 12 were chosen is significant. Now, what I find at least a bit interesting, maybe some humor behind it as well, is how Matthew's is just laid out. I mean, Matthew, now, he doesn't mention all of them until later in his gospel, as we see in chapter 10, verse 2 through 4, but it's like he left out all the details. It's like he's just getting straight to the point. These are the 12 men, all right? But yet, Mark and Luke, they kind of go into a little bit more specific details. Like, he went up to the mountain, he prayed for the night, and then this was going on, the setting and everything, but Matthew's just like, no, I'm just going to get to the point. It's these men. There you go. Let's move on. But I think it's very important that we notice the comparisons. Comparing the four lists, there is great value. Because, for example, notice who is first in all of three accounts it's mentioned.
Simon. Peter and Andrew.
Simon, who is Peter.
Peter.
Say it louder.
Peter.
Simon Peter.
Simon Peter.
Yeah, Simon Peter. Now I said there's four lists. The fourth one is found in Acts chapter 1. Let's all go ahead and turn there real quick and look at that list. Acts chapter 1, verse 13. Acts 1:13, chapter 1, verse 13 says, Peter and John and James and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon the Zealot, and Judas the son of James. That Judas is the writer Jude. He changes his name to Jude later on. So he is the writer of the letter of Jude at the end of the New Testament. But notice again that Simon Peter, he's mentioned first in all four of these lists. Now, here's something to kind of tuck, at least in your memory, is that especially when you're dealing with Catholics, they try to use this to try, once again, prove that Peter is the first pope.
Oh.
What? That's stretching it. Just because his name is first, you're saying that proves that he's the pope? No, we've already debunked that. I mean, Scripture has already debunked that Peter was not the first pope. But what it does is that at least in the Jewish writing style, the way that they would write their literature, names and at least the order that they're mentioned expresses prominence, importance, significance. And what was significant about Peter?
He might have been the strongest of faith, but he also was tempted too. So
Yes, he was. I'd say that he definitely had leadership abilities. We see that, absolutely. We do see at times that even though he as a leader would fall, because remember, don't forget about the time that he went out to walk on the water with Jesus, and what happened? When he saw the waves and the wind, he started sinking. Yep, and then Jesus tells him, "Oh, you of little faith." And so there are times when even Peter, who was a great leader, who had strong faith, there was times in his life when he had little faith. I mean, look at him when he denied Jesus 3 times. Go ahead.
Could he be like an example to the others? That look, even though Peter is the best, not the best, but he's the strongest, he fails and gets back up and starts again.
Yes, I think that Jesus expected him to set an example before the others. But also, I think the main part of why Peter's mentioned first, Matthew chapter 16, verse 18 and 19. That was the Sunday morning lesson that I went live on Facebook because we're stuck in about the one church that Jesus built. Who did he give the keys to the kingdom to?
Simon Peter.
Peter! And again, what did Peter do with those spiritual keys? What door did he unlock?
He preached the first gospel sermon.
Yeah.
He preached the first gospel sermon. Acts chapter 2, he unlocked the door. And of course, from Acts chapter 1, all the way to Acts chapter 12, guess who is the prominent figure throughout the whole book of Acts? At least in the whole book of Acts. From Acts 1 to 12. Simon Peter. And then when you get to chapters 13 all the way to chapter 28 of Acts, Paul is the prominent figure. And then so we see that I mean, without a doubt, that Peter being mentioned first in all four of those lists right there is to show the prominence and the role that he had in preaching the first gospel, unlocking the doors of the kingdom, establishing when this church was established in Acts chapter 2. And so, I mean, here's the thing. Sometimes we don't like looking at those list of names because we find it a little bit boring. I'm just going to skip that. I mean, it's just a bunch of names. But really, when you do a lot of comparing of these names and these list of names, we can learn some valuable information. So other details, I mean, from this list could be pointed out. For instance, there are several sets of brothers. You got Thaddeus was apparently also known as Judas, the son of James, who's later known as Jude. Perhaps most significant is that each list in the gospel accounts can be broken into 3 sets of 4. And the same individual heads each set in each list. Peter heads the first group, Philip leads the second group, while James, the son of Alphaeus, leads the third. Pretty interesting. So since there's a considerable variation in the arrangement of names within each group, the uniform placement of these 3 names seem to be deliberate. Peter, Philip, and James, the son of Alphaeus, may have been group leaders. Yes. Group leaders regarding training missions and several other projects. And we have already met several of these selected men. Peter and Andrew from earlier, John chapter 1, verse 40 and 41. James and John, Matthew 4, verse 21. Philip and perhaps Bartholomew, John chapter 1, verse 43 and 45. And Matthew chapter 9, verse 9. And so little is said, concerning the others in the New Testament, but we know 3 key details concerning them. 3 key details. You ready? First, they would all have been called as Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Matthew were called. Second, like Peter and the others, they were evidently chosen because of their potential, not because of previous spiritual attainments. And third, they would all be empowered by Jesus to teach and cast out demons. And again, they I'm referring to are the other individuals at the end of the list that we don't have much information about. But we do have those 3 key details and important facts about them, is that they were called just as Peter, Andrew, James, John, and Matthew were called. They were evidently chosen because of their potential, and they would all be empowered by Jesus to teach and cast out demons. And what's interesting is that each of these details would even apply to who? Who's the last one that's mentioned in all the lists? Or at least Judas the Iscariot, yes. And notice that in Acts 1, in that list, chapter 1, verse 13, he's not mentioned. What happened?
He hung himself.
He hung himself. And who was it that took his place? Matthias. Yeah, all right. Yeah, Matthias. So just from this little section right here, I mean, even though it's just a list of names, we learn a lot from these list of names. I mean, if we take the time to actually study and kind of do some comparisons as far as how the other accounts word it, and etc. But now we go, and of course, we got 15 minutes left, so we can get started in this. Our next section of what could possibly, again, happen chronologically next in the life of Christ. Matthew chapter 5. This takes us now to the Sermon on the Mount.
Why is it before that list?
What?
Why is it before that list in Matthew?
Why is what before the list?
The Sermon on the Mount.
Oh, from what I mentioned earlier, is that because Matthew doesn't mention the list of names later on into his account.
Oh.
And remember, most of the time when these men wrote these things, they're not necessarily in chronological order. I mean, if you're wanting to read the account that is most chronological, it would be Luke's gospel. Luke's gospel would most likely have been the chronological one to read, what happened in consecutive order. But Matthew chapter 5. Now, question number 2 on the discussion sheet. Again, it's a question that has 2 questions. What is the Sermon on the Mount about?
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Is that all it's about?
No.
I'd say a godly lifestyle.
A godly lifestyle. How many chapters is the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew?
3.
3. There you go. Matthew 5, 6, and 7. There you go.
It's a commentary on the book of James.
No, James is a commentary
Oh.
on the Sermon on the Mount. Yeah,
Yeah.
James. There you go. Hey, you remember that. I like that. James, the book of James is the practical commentary of the Sermon on the Mount. All right, so what is the Sermon on the Mount about? It's about godly living, godly life. Anybody else got anything different?
Talks about a whole bunch of stuff.
All right, it talks about a whole bunch of stuff. Now, is it just a whole bunch of
No.
stuff that's just all scrambled together?
It all centers around being a godly person.
All centers around being a godly person, and so remember, they're
How to-
like threads, okay? They
how to
all
be
connect
righteous.
together. Yeah. And so, let's say it again. That
How to
word.
be righteous.
How to be righteous, yes. Yes, all right. Matthew chapter 5. Here's the thing. If you want to write this down or if you want to put a square or a box around this verse, but Matthew 5, verse 20 is the key verse of the Sermon on the Mount. What does Matthew 5:20 say?
For I say to you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees, you shall not enter the kingdom of heaven.
All right. For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Let me ask you this: what kind of righteousness did the Pharisees have?
They didn't really.
What was their righteousness based off of? Theirs? No, not the Pharisees.
The Old Testament. Didn't they?
They're rabbis
All
and
of-
stuff.
All of the laws and regulations of the Old Testament.
Yeah, so the laws, the regulations, mainly the traditions. Say it again, Braden.
The rabbis.
The rabbis, yes, the rabbis, because again, remember, they were to be teachers of the law, but however, they based their authority from what the ancient rabbis taught. And those 2 books are the Talmud and the Mishnah. Mishnah contained all the traditions of what their forefathers and ancestors were to follow, and the Mishnah, it's spelled exactly how it sounds, Mishnah. And then you have the Talmud, Talmud, and that was the commentary of the old law of what all the ancient rabbis said. And so, yes, they would instead, in their classes, instead of using the law as their authority, again, they taught it. They said, this is what the law says, but here's what Rabbi so-and-so said about this. Here's what Rabbi so-and-so said about this. And let me tell you why Rabbi so-and-so over here is right and these other rabbis are wrong. So again, where's their authority from? Is it from God's word or is it from man? It's from man. And so their righteousness was based off of really their own standard, man-made standard, man-made traditions, all of what their rabbis were saying. And so Jesus says, your righteousness. So I like that authority. That's why the people were amazed at the end of it. Let's look at, real quickly, chapter 7. Look at their reaction of when he finished it. Matthew 7, verse 28 and 29.
They were astonished.
And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one who had authority and not as their scribes. And so when Jesus is delivering the greatest sermon that was ever given, ever preached, he's telling you that your righteousness, so who's responsible? Us. Each and every one of us, we are personally held responsible of making sure that our righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees. And the whole Sermon on the Mount is Jesus showing and explaining them, this is how your righteousness can surpass that of the scribes and Pharisees. And it all boils down to, you are to hold on to God's righteousness. That is how your righteousness can surpass that of the scribes and Pharisees. Is that if you follow God's standard, you will have his righteousness. It will become your righteousness, and it will surpass that of the scribes and Pharisees. So put it in very simple terms. It's not about your standard. It's not about your man-made rules, your man-made. It's not based on, simply put, okay, it's not based upon your standard. I'll just leave it at that. It's not based upon your standard. It's based upon God's standard. God's standard is where the true righteousness is at. And if that is what you want, then you need to follow it and do it God's way. And that Jesus is going to show them how to do it. This is how you're going to do it. So he's going to start with Matthew 5, verses 3. He's going to go on to Matthew 7, verse 27. All right, now, Jennifer, you had your hand up earlier.
Well, it's okay. I just had a thought, their righteousness, the scribes and Pharisees, was also an outward righteousness.
Yes.
Just an appearance of righteousness, because, Jesus even compared them to the sepulchres,
Mm-hmm.
which were white on the outside, but the inside full of dead things.
Exactly. It was all about outward appearance.
Right.
Yes. It was not about really the inward, because that's where it all begins. It all begins on the inside. And if your inside is clean, then obviously it's going to show outwardly that it's clean. But if it's clean on the outside but dirty on the inside, then no, that's not how it needs to be. And so their righteousness, you're right, is all about outward appearances, where ours needs to be inward and outward. Look at chapter 7 real quick. Chapter 6. Here's a great example. Jesus gives 3 illustrations about how our righteousness and our awareness of how it is to be seen by other men. He says, beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen by them, for then you'll have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. And so he gives 3 illustrations: given to the needy, praying, and fasting. Those are the 3 illustrations he gives. Given to the needy, praying, and fasting. See, here's what the Pharisees like to do when they gave to the needy. They like to blow a trumpet, make a loud noise, so then others will be like, oh, who's making that loud noise? And then they see what they're doing. Look at me over here. I'm about to give this poor, innocent man right here on this corner 100 denarii. They wanted the applause. Oh, you're such a good person. Yeah. And then the prayers. Oh boy, they like to stand on the street corners. They like to make loud, long, eloquent sounding prayers, just so people can see and applaud them. And then fasting. They like to fast for a long time. And of course, when you're fasting, there's going to be a lot of, physicalities that are going to definitely show. You're going to have bags under your eyes. You're going to look pale. You're going to look tired. You're going to be slouching. Well, Jesus says that, don't do what the Pharisees do. They walk around like that. So for the purpose of people asking them, hey, why are you looking like that? Are you all right? I've just been fasting for about 3 weeks now. Yeah, just so they can brag about it and kind of make themselves look holy and righteous so that other people would applaud them for that.
So like the ones that do Lent and say, okay, I'm going to do without chocolate, or I'm going to do without.
Oh, yes.
They make sure everybody knows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
have that for,
There used to be a guy here in Denison that used to go over there by Barrett's, and he preached. I don't remember how long he preached up there, but he'd go out there and you could hear him, and it was where that video place was. I think it's a tobacco place now.
Mhm.
Stand on the street there and just scream out stuff, and you're like, you didn't, I forget how long ago
I
it's
used to
been.
go to Barrett's and I never.
Do you remember it?
15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, 15, 20, but he was up there, I thought any minute he's gonna get out that whip and start whipping. He would go to town and he was going after it.
I saw him, I didn't realize he was doing it.
Start whipping and flipping tables and throwing chairs, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I thought he was.
But now let me ask you this though. Is it wrong to give to the poor?
No.
No. Is it wrong to pray in public?
No,
Is it wrong to fast?
no,
So then what is Jesus talking about?
those that make a mockery of it.
For
And just
show.
have to, a show.
Make a mockery and show of it. See, what it all boils down to is motive. Your heart inside. Why are you praying in public? Why are you giving to the poor? Why are you fasting? Is it to be seen by men and receive their applause?
It's not supposed to be.
It's not supposed to. But that's what the righteousness of the Pharisees was all about. The outward showing, as Jennifer pointed out. And Jesus says, well, guess what? They got the reward.
Yeah.
But then how long did that last? But when it is seen by God, seen by God, which means that you're doing it for the right reason, how long is your reward going to last? Eternally. Yes, eternally. So which of the two would you rather want? It's no brainer. Internally, then yes. So then get your heart right. Make sure that God's righteousness is cleaning you on the inside as well. Because when He cleans you on the inside, and you're doing it for the right reason, then guess what? It's going to manifest you doing it outwardly for the right reason. Make sense? Well, that's some background, at least, into the Sermon on the Mount. But I would like to at least look at this beautiful discourse. And I didn't hear the bell. It doesn't ring the bell yet. Okay. But the text of Matthew chapter 5, verse through chapter 7 has been called the supreme discourse in the literature of the world. It's also been called the manifesto of the king, the directory of the devout life, the grand charter of the church. It's also been called the constitution of the kingdom of heaven. I like that one. Most of us, know it by a term used by Augustine in the 4th century, the Sermon on the Mount. That's actually where we got that title from, the Sermon on the Mount. Because that phrase, Sermon on the Mount, is actually not specifically in the text. It's on your little subheading right there. And Augustine in the 4th century is the one who came up with that subtitle, that little Sermon on the Mount subtitle above the text. But thousands upon thousands of books, articles, and sermons and lessons have been based on it. Many consider it to be the ultimate expression of how life should be lived. And get this, all right? Sadly, the Sermon on the Mount is not only the best known of all Jesus' teachings, it is also probably the least understood and almost certainly the least obeyed. So I tell you what, this is going to be your homework and your challenge, is to read through the Sermon on the Mount. Read through the Sermon on the Mount. And it's just an exercise, okay? It's not to make you feel guilty, all right? It's an exercise to help us spiritually. I want you to read through it, not just once, but read through it twice. Read through it 3 times. Here's my challenge. Okay, yes, here's better. Starting tonight, read through it once every day up until next Wednesday. All right? Read through it 1 time a day, starting tonight. All right? Now, if you can't start it tonight, then you can read it through twice tomorrow. Yeah, to make up for tonight. Yeah. Read it through in the morning, read it through tomorrow night, yes.
Or just go on our YouTube channel and I can read it to you and put you
Oh,
to
there you
sleep.
go. Yeah, you got that. If you wanted to listen on audio, Braden's got it on audio as well on the YouTube channel. Yeah. So read it through, and then I kind of just want you to ask yourself a lot of self-reflecting questions. Ask yourself, saying, "Ooh, he's talking to me right there. Oh, he's talking to me right there." And I don't want you to feel guilty. No, it's not. It's not meant. It's to help you to realize areas where you probably know that you need to improve on, and then challenge yourself to do better. All right. Okay, so that's going to be your homework. And then next Wednesday, if the good Lord wills, we'll come back and we'll dig into the text and draw out its beautiful meaning of the Sermon on the Mount. This is going to be awesome.
Exegesis.
Exegesis, that's right. Draw out the meaning. Okay. All right, well, thank you, everybody. We are dismissed.